Hi, welcome back to the Amoretti kitchen. Today I am going to make some Irish brown bread, and I'm going to be using the Amoretti date extract and some of our Irish Stout beer extract and some agave. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mix the yeast and let that get bubbly. So we'll pour that in, and then I can add all the other flavorings that we have here. So there's a little bit of molasses and the Irish Stout beer extract. This gives it such a nice flavor. It's really nice. And the date, a little bit of sweetness, and a little bit more sweetness with some agave. All right, so I'm going to mix all these guys together, and this will sit for 10 minutes, let it bubble up. This yeast and on the other ingredients have been sitting for 10 minutes. It's nice and bubbly. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it, which is lukewarm, and the water that I added before with the yeast was lukewarm. So it should just be slightly warm because you want it to react with the yeast. So this is going to go in, and then I'm going to add this flour. I have bread flour and some whole wheat flour and some salt in here. So I'm just going to mix these together, combine them, and then it's going to sit another 10 minutes because it has to rest before we start forming it into the loaf. So this dough will be a little bit sticky, it's a little bit wet, and that's okay. The nice thing about this recipe is there's no kneading for this, just some resting time. And once this comes together, as I say, it will sit, and then we'll form it into a loaf, and then it will sit another 20 minutes. Okay, this looks pretty good. This is all mixed. So I'm going to cover this with this towel, and we'll let this take a little rest for 10 minutes. So this has been sitting for 10 minutes, resting nicely. I am now going to form it into a loaf. So put a little bit of flour on here. Get some on my hands. As I say, this dough is sticky, which is fine. It's good. So just work it a little bit and form it into a loaf. It doesn't really have to be kneaded a lot. Okay, so I think this is ready. I'm going to lift this up. We'll put this into the loaf pan. Just shape it a little bit more, press it down. Now this is going to be placed onto a warm area, like on top of the oven, maybe on a rack would be a good place while your oven is heating. And then it will proof and rise for 20 minutes, and we'll be back. So this bread has been sitting for 20 minutes in a nice warm spot, and you can see that it's risen, so it is almost to the top of the pan, which means it's time for us to bake it. So we're going to put this in a 450 oven. It will bake for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to pull it out, take it out of this loaf pan, turn it upside down, and bake it for another 15. The reason I take this bread out and put it back in the oven upside down is to increase the browning on the crust, and this adds a lot of flavor to your bread. All right, so here's this beautiful brown bread, and it has an amazing crust on it. So I'm just going to cut a few slices. This is so good with a little bit of butter. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to our channel and our newsletter. We want to keep you updated on all of our discounts, our promos, and our recipes. See you next time.